Woman. I'm your host, Liza Monet Morales. Thank you so much for joining us. And without further ado, let me introduce you to my co-host for today. We have a very special guest with us, Ani, and of course we have our other Everyway Woman hosts, Holly and Charlotte. So let's get going, you guys. This week in Open Dialogue, Hot Topics. Britney Spears, anyone? Can we just talk a little bit about what's going on with her? That woman is always in the news. I swear that she gets off being in the news.
Absolutely. I mean, what would a week be without Britney?
Yeah, so I don't know if you're informed. I know you've been off on the Love Boat, which we'll get to more in a little bit. But what I will say is what's going on with her is that she's actually being sued for sexual harassment and also being accused of a bad mom, which we've heard about her being accused.
This
isn't the first time. Exactly.
Issue with her, yes.
But the new thing is apparently that she flashed her security guard and was making advances that he didn't want, which is kind of interesting.
Well, is it the job of a bodyguard perhaps to see her naked? If he's really truly guarding her body, perhaps that's part of the job.
I know.
That is a great question.
And many of her outfits, are pretty close to that anyway. So,
but there is such a double standard because he's being trashed all over the media. It's not being macho. And what's the matter with you? Why wouldn't you want to see her naked?
Right. That's true. But if the roles were reversed, that's what brings up an interesting question. If they were reversed and it was a guy and it was like a female bodyguard, which I know a couple which are awesome and they work well and they keep people, safe. If it was done, I don't think anybody would be questioning that. They would be like, what is he doing? And, I don't know. Sure. It's interesting in terms of also, what does that say about Britney as a mom? More importantly, too, which is some of the debates people are having, and doesn't even matter.
Well, I think on one hand, she wants to be out there all the time and keep the publicity going. But on, how positive does she want to be? Because she does have that mom role, you would think that she would want positive publicity.
I wonder if her children are seeing what's going on with the bodyguard also. I mean, I haven't heard anything about that, but that's a good question to ask.
I mean, and what would you say, Ani, in terms of being a young woman in love, in terms of, especially being a role model? I think these days, no matter any type of woman that you are in the media, when you look at Paris Hilton, which has been something else that's also been in the news, when you look at Lindsay Lohan, what it takes to be a role model, what would you say for you?
Certainly not those women. I don't consider role models, but it's like a parental control and how well you can control what your kids watch. I actually totally been out of the news, so I didn't even know that was the case with Britney Spears. I thought she went and got help, and she did pretty well for a while. But I think people would pull out of strings to be in the media for the wrong reasons.
I agree. All right, well, Britney, our advice to you is, girl, just focus on your kids. So that's what I'm saying. All right, other things that are definitely hitting up in the news this week is also, again, kind of about the whole relationship thing. Liam Neeson is kind of going public with his new love. We know Jesse James just kind of went public with his new love shortly thereafter after breaking up with Sandra Bullock. And of course, Kelsey Grammer. Do you guys think it's too soon? Is it again a double standard because they're men? Because if it had been like, I don't know, Sandra Bullock all of a sudden had a boyfriend, people would be like, no, don't do that? Or what do you guys think?
Well, I don't know if there is an exact time that's right. I think obviously with every relationship it's different, but Liam, it's been quite some time.
Yeah, it seems like it has.
I think that's kind of appropriate. Jesse, did we really expect it was gonna be a while?
I didn't. I mean, honestly though, I have to say, I find it odd in having this conversation with my girlfriends that they actually find him more attractive. Some of them do have said, I think some girls are finding him more attractive, that he's very macho, that he can have all these women around him. I'm like, yeah, but that's not marriage material. No. And maybe I'm just in a different point of my life where I don't want bam, slam, thank you, ma'am, or Mr. Right now, but I want Mr. Right, So is it that? Is it that there's like two segments of the population?
The bad boy image is what these girls are after.
I think Liam Neeson's cute, personally. I've always thought he was really cute.
Okay.
If I were single, I would have headed over there and given that a try.
I love it. So does age matter? I mean, that kind of starts going into the whole cougar thing too, like with relationships and stuff. Older man, younger girl, or if we flip it.
Well, I don't know if it's age as it is personality. I think Liam's much more of a down-to-earth,
conservative
kind of guy, whereas Jesse, clearly, he's...
In the 1990s, with Kelsey Grammer, I think it was in the 1990s, I went to the Bachelor auction, and he was up for auction. He was like the grand prize, and it was really funny.
Okay, we know she was there, like, hollering with the dollars, and like, pick me! I love it.
And when he went for a lot of money, but then I found out his girlfriend was there bidding it up so that he would not have to go out with anybody except his girlfriend. So it was rigged.
That's great. Now, okay, so this is actually, I think, a great segue into the fact that we have a woman that is older, that we were talking about that is super classy. And if you guys don't know at home, we're talking about Raquel Welch, which is super, super awesome. I know we have to go out to break, so we'll touch on that a little bit more when we come back. So please make sure to stay tuned to Everyway Woman. All right, you guys, we are back from break, and I'm your host once again, Liza Monet Morales for Everyway Women. When we went to break, we actually were talking about one of my favorite classical actresses, Raquel Welch. And I have to tell you, I really think that that woman makes 70 look something to aspire to. She looks beautiful. I recently saw her at a luncheon, and I know you and I were talking about it off air about a new book that she has.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about little Miss Raquel Welch, Holly?
Well, I saw her recently on her book tour and her latest book, and so I went and picked it up. I'm not really one to buy celebrity books because usually their suggestions are so, over the top and not down to earth, but I just absolutely love it. She gives so many great ideas about health. And
the book we're talking about, you guys at home, so you can see, is Raquel Welch's Beyond the Change. It's available online. You can get the information on our website, everywaywoman.com, of course. But go on.
Yes, she touches on exercise and through the age groups. She starts with your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and she feels, I guess, at this stage in her life that she has that experience to just kind of reflect back overall. And she talks about personal style and what it means to date, because she's had several marriages and relationships and things like that, and it's just awesome.
I think it's so great to be alive at this time, getting to be a middle-aged woman, because you can look 30 now and be 50.
Well,
and you can get Botox and you can do all this and it's acceptable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would hate to have lived 30 years ago.
Even look at Betty White, though. That woman is like making a brand for herself and going. And I think Raquel is one of the first leaders because, and we were talking a little bit about this off air, but she has been a woman with a vision. She's been a very strong role model in terms of how to have a business in different fields, whether it's having wigs, having makeup. I mean, that woman can make money out of air. And I love you, Raquel, for that. I need to learn how to go do that. But I mean, what's great too that I love is her story. The fact that she started off as a beauty contestant at the age of 18.
Did she win the pageant, or
and
she
did, and then she went on to be a weather girl, and then she kind of took that, and it's a field that people think, oh, you're pretty, it's ditzy, you must not be smart, but she really kind of, I think, bucked the system and showed that she could have beauty and looks and make money from it. So it's something, in terms of role models like we were talking about, I think Raquel is a fantastic.
It seems like perseverance was probably her key. I'm guessing that was a big element.
And that is such a great transition because perseverance is definitely the key thing that our next guest, Ani, actually did. And I want to make sure I get the last name right. Garagosian? Garagosian.
Good job.
Okay, all right, Ani Garagosian, who actually persevered until she actually found Mr. Right. She decided not to settle, and I have to tell you guys, she just has a fantastic story that I think can really help a lot of women out there in terms of their search for hope. So let's get to it. Tell me a little bit more. First off, can we zoom in on the ring, is what I'm saying. Because gorgeous, put that hand up. Yes, girl. Be Beyonce.
Big ring.
Yes, it's a gorgeous ring, so your husband did well. But let's talk a little bit about the road to love, how you got there.
Heartbreaking, disappointment, and the people not being honest. It took about, 4 or 5 years to find that person that I want to say completes you and is your partner.
Were these people that you met here, or these are people you met online, or where did you meet these people who were not honest?
Both. I think my family set me up on every blind date you can possibly think of.
That's for sure.
By the time I was in 30, I was like, I'm done with blind dates.
Yeah.
It was date after date. I went to networking, I went to mixers, I took suggestions, this person, that person, people